Welcome to CashFlow Diary, a podcast where we discuss business, money, real estate, and the sharing economy. As a full-time real estate investor, entrepreneur, and all-around problem solver, I have had the privilege of developing individuals into powerful business owners. And today, the focus turns towards you. Our mission is to help you build your real estate empire by leveraging strategies to grow yourself, your mind, and your wallet. Let's get started.
330 units total, 60 down units, 50% occupancy. Now we're talking. This is good. C plus property in a D class neighborhood. Okay. Seller paid $18,000 a door. Okay. 5.94 million. No, he paid cash. Okay. Seller will finance. Required CapEx repairs 1.2 million. No, that's going to be higher. Okay, but let me keep reading. Sorry. And for those of you who don't know, CapEx is capital expenditures. Capital expenditures is what that is. Man. Okay. Anyway, capital expenditures. These are the expenditures you make for capital improvements. You typically, for you accounting types, these are not the ones that are expensed. These are the ones that are depreciated. Sep, I'm going to tell you right now, you're already underestimating the CapEx repairs, and I'm going to tell you why in a second, but we'll keep going. Poor property management in place. Yep, that's one reason. Seller managing the property from out of state. Okay, so you're telling me you paid $6 million and decided to do it from out of state. Wow. And if he has a spare $6 million, can you give him my number? Seller purchased this property from foreclosure 2 years ago and spent, he had a spare $8 million and spent $2 million on electrical upgrades for the property. Mainly the sub-meter electrical for each unit. Wow. Ooh, okay. To recoup as much of their basis as possible. Yeah, he's realizing this is not good. Average actual rent $610 a unit, market rent $600. Yeah, well, then we got all kinds of problems. Stabilized value $9,900,000. Question. Would you recommend repositioning this asset if the neighborhood makes it challenging to attract C-class tenants? If so, please analyze the numbers. Woo! Okay, Sep, my buddy, my friend, we got a challenge here, okay? So I need way more information about the neighborhood. For example, let me to answer your question directly. I don't know if it makes sense because it is going to be conditioned upon the neighborhood and where this building is placed in the neighborhood. For example, if this building is adjacent to a freeway, the answer is no. If this building is not in the bus route, the answer is no. If the bus stop is too far from this building, the answer is also no. I want to know what retail is next to this establishment. For example, is it next to the liquor store? Is it next to the church? Is it what's next to it? Is it across the street from a school? There are things that go into the property acquisition phase that are going to be very, very critical to understand. So there's a ton of stuff that I need to know, especially if you're about to ask me, should you take a 6, 7, you're taking a 7-figure risk, multiple 7-figure risk. And I don't know if this is your first reposition on a unit this size or your 101st. But if this is your first, I'm going to tell you no, because this is big and it's going to take a lot of strategy. And you're going to need political relationships on something of this size. So all of those things put together is beginning to lead me towards a no. But I'm going to keep going and show you what I would do. So here's the play. Now it's going to come down to effective age and the property original build date. So here's what I mean. If no one else in this apartment row has done a reposition and has anything new and shiny, then we have a shot. If that's been the standard, so you've got two situations. You got the situation where everyone else has not done anything and you're going to be the first, which I would prefer. Or you have the opposite situation where everyone's already rehabbed their property and this one's the last, which, well, the seller's not going to prefer, but that's what it comes down to. So there's a way to negotiate on both sides of that. I would prefer to be the first one to go in and rehab something, because then what happens is a phenomenon called flight. People leave the dilapidated or perceived to be dilapidated places to come to your building. And especially at 50% occupancy, you've got some occupancy to absorb, which typically means you get the best tenants. You begin to get to pick your best tenants from that class, and they all come to your building, which could put, that doesn't necessarily mean, but it could put the other owners in a situation in which they either have to upgrade at a time they're not looking or thinking about it, or they're improperly financed to be able to handle it, or they're in a situation where they need to sell, which then allows you to pick up the building next door. So all of those things, oh man, there's so much to this. We just haven't even gotten to the good stuff. So, but this is what I'm saying. Okay, what's this? We would be the first. Okay, competitors are lagging. That's good. Great. That would be the position I would want you to be in. Here's the challenge. With that, we've got too high a price. We got too high a price. It's just not worth the risk. At this particular moment. First of all, paying $18,000 a door for C class is hard for me to swallow. I mean, I don't know if he bought it in that condition. I mean, well, he couldn't have. He bought it in that condition and spent $2 million. Jeez. Can you give him my number? If he's got any extra money, I'd like it. Okay. So let me figure out how to structure this thing. Wow. Okay. He wants to recoup basis. All right, so that's good. So here's part of what we're going to do. We're going to take advantage of inflation. We're going to take advantage of the time value of money. We're going to leverage the marketplace and what we know to be able to make this thing work. Because this, and if you want to hold this thing, we've got some stuff to work through. Okay. Need an extra sip of coffee for this one. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Maybe I should start looking at these ahead of time. Because this is big. This is like huge. All right. So we've got 330 units total, 60 down units. I'm willing to bet that you're thinking that 1.2 million only goes into the 60 down units. Let me tell you what's really going to happen. I'm going to tell you what's really going to happen. You're going to have those 60 down units. That's great. And those 60 units are going to be down for at least a year. Here's why. You're going to take over and you're going to find out the rent roll is in shambles. You're not giving any credit to the because you set poor property management in place. That's also code for, especially if it's a C-class property, D-class neighborhood. I promise you got a lot of tenants that are paying their rent in cash, and they might not have an actual job, if you get my meaning. So therefore, you're going to have to police and clean that up. So that's my first concern is you've got 165 people to vet. That is going to take an immense amount of time, whether you realize it or not. So it's 165 units, 165 people to vet. You're going to have to vet the male, the female, because what typically happens is you're going to have the girl move in and then her boyfriend moves in later. So on the lease, you only see the female and you're like, oh, she's good. Yeah, but she's got a boyfriend. And that boyfriend, he's got extracurricular activities and you need to know what those are. And you're going to have to go through that first. So you're not going to acquire this property and only have occupancy go up. You need to plan for this occupancy to go down to about, I'm going to say 20%. You need to be prepared for that shock. So let's just say 30% of the occupancy is toast. It's gone. That's what's going to happen. So now you're at 20%. So at 20%, you got maybe 60, 70 units. But guess what happened to the people you just kicked out? All of those units are in disrepair too. So you're going to have to rehab somewhere around 250 units or more to get this thing going. And here's the math that I'm doing. Sorry, I'm laughing because I'm like, whoo, you're not doing this for 1.2 million. That's all. Because that's really all I'm saying. It's 1.2 million, right? And if you've got 250 units to rehab, you've got you got $4,800 a unit, and that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. I mean, I don't even know, did he submeter the electrical correctly? And God forbid, did he submeter the water too? And if the water isn't submetered, why didn't he go through since he already spent that money, that's what he should be submetering the Anyway, sorry, I'm going off on tangents. But so you're going to have to verify that, because if this jurisdiction is like many other jurisdictions, the utility company has a say in this process. And at some point, you're going to have to pull permits for this same process. So we've got to examine the elect. You're just not doing this for 1.2 million. I'm sorry. It's just not happening. The repair costs are going to be longer than 1.2 million. We haven't even gotten into the holding costs. Okay. The repair costs are going to be more than 1.2 million. Oh, this is a breath of fresh air. It's fun. All right. So we already know you need more than 1.2 million. Poor property management means you've got to have property management from day one that is in place and on the ground. 330 units, you probably need about 6 people on payroll. You need probably 2 maintenance, 2 property managers, a main and a leasing agent. And then you probably, and I haven't even gotten to this. You're also going to need security. So that there's so many things that are going through my head right now. So just to take over this property, because, all right, I'm going to show you guys something that you need to begin to learn, especially on properties of this kind, this size. There's something called SEPTED. SEPTED is just a way of being able to produce clean, safe, affordable housing, especially in a multifamily environment. And you want to think about these things as you go through the process. There's just, there you go. Crime prevention through environmental design. There you go. That just go here, go to the Wikipedia, and you've got to be thinking about this on the front end. I don't know what the landscaping looks like, but I'm already thinking about it, because I bet you there's trees, and I bet you there's shrubbery, and I bet you it's all overgrown, and you're going to have to deal with it. If this is in Georgia, you probably got pine. Pine is horrible, especially on roofs. So you got to start developing a plan for all the trees you need to cut down and reuse. I mean, sorry, 1.2 million. I keep going back to that. That's just not going to happen. If you're going to reposition this asset, you got to do it. Then you're going to have to add things like extra utility poles and lighting, just to make it all work together. I think you're beginning to get the idea where I'm going here is that A, you can't pay him $6 million, and B, it's going to cost more than 1.2 to put this property back together like it should be. But I'm going to keep going simply because it's here and this is fun for me. Let's see. We're going to put restrictions on SEP in the future. This is crazy. So I'm trying to get to the numbers, but there's so much before the numbers. All right. Seller paid $18,000 for the loan. I think we all know he overpaid. Okay. No existing debt in place. Seller will finance. Of course he will, because he needs help. I'd finance too. The seller managing property from out of state. Great. All right. So here's how you can structure this and kind of make it palatable for this guy. So let's say he still wants his, $5.94 million. Whew. Now, first of all, let me be very clear. You shouldn't pay $5.94 million for this. Okay. There's no way you should do that. But however, just for the benefit of this example, let me show you what I mean. If you pay the $5.94 million, good night. I'm just trying to write out all these numbers right. Good night. That's a lot of zeros. Don't do it. I'm going to show you what that is actually worth in today's dollars. So I'm going to do a discounted cash flow on my calculator. Now, some of you may have never seen anything like this, and that's okay. Let's just deal with it. My whole point here is, let's see, we've got 5.94 million. That's what we're going to pay. We're going to do this at 0% interest, 36 years. And all we're going to do is have 0 payments. So as it currently stands, we've got $16,500 with 0% interest as the payment. So you could say, all right, mister, I'll take your property at your stated price. I'm going to pay you $16,500 a month. Swallow that one. Okay. Until paid. Notice the words I said. This is how you phrase the numbers that I just put in the calculator. It's $16,500 per month until paid. Okay. And in this case, we did it over 30 years. If I could do it over 40 years, that's fine. If you want to take it down to 12,375, that's at least more palatable. It's a more palpable number for me. Now, let's keep going. What I want to know, though, is if I was going to get this stream of income today, what is it worth today? So we're going to pay him the 12,375. At the end of the day, we're talking about giving him, let's say if we can delay the 5,940, the 5,940,000. Every time I say that number, I get a little nauseous, by the way. It's just really big. But I want to know what that's worth today. 5,940. It's going to go there. We're paying him no money. I want to know today's value at over 30 years, 0% interest rate, 2%. There we go. Here we go. Here's what we're going to do. Now we're going to get a lot creative. Got it. So here's how we're going to do this. Here's another structure. And let me see if I can give him a better number. Yeah, there we go. Now it's palatable for me. So here's what we're saying. This equation is telling me that we are going to give him $500,000 today and compound it at 8%. That's what this says, is that we're going to give him $545,000 today. Okay, mister, you want to get your $5,940,000 back. What I will do is I will give you $500,000 today, compounded over 30 years at 8%. And at the end of the term, you will have received your principal you will receive a total amount of $5,940,000. You see how I got there? Now I can do the same thing if I wanted to do it in 10 years. So if I wanted to do, oops, I did the wrong number. If I want to do it in 10 years, I would do it this way. But I'd have to give up more money. I'd have to give him $2.6 million today and compound it over 8%. All I'm trying to do is reduce the amount of money that you need to give him today to give him an equivalent dollar value. It may not have an equivalent purchasing power, but it has an equivalent dollar value. So if you say to him that, hey, I'll give it to you. So if I'm going to do $2 million, I want to increase the return. Let me get this 12, boom. So that way it's $1.8 million today over 10 years. Maybe he doesn't want to wait 30 years. He wants to wait 10 years. Okay, cool. Increase the return. Now you've got a different number. I don't know. I'm hoping that makes sense to you, because at the end of the day, what this simply means when you put it all together is that you can come out of pocket less money up front. And I'm just coming up with creative ways to structure the financing of the $6 million that he needs. If this went way over your head, clearly I need to put a calculator course together and share that with you so that you understand how this works all together. But all I'm saying is it's a way to discount cash flow, to understand what you should pay so that you have the ability to make an offer that kind of makes sense if you really, really, really want to take this down without paying too much today. So this is a way to pay $1.8 million right now, have it compound for the future and be able to get stuff done. So that's really where I'm coming from, because I'm coming up with creative ways to make the structure work, just to make the structure work, because, man, this is a rehab project. And by the way, about $2 million is where I would land if I'm going to actually go out there to tackle this property, or maybe even less. In fact, let's figure out what I would offer for this, what my total investment is going to be for this property. I'm going to use the same formula. So I'm going to take the adjusted gross scheduled income. I'm going to multiply that by 2 equals my total investment. And see what you're witnessing here. This is what I do. So some of my private coaching clients, they ask me to show them how to do real estate, show them how to go on and negotiate. So when I start saying stuff like this, sometimes it goes, whoop, gone, right? I'll just get on the phone when you're my coaching client. I'll just get on the phone and explain to the seller what I just said in a way that they go, okay, that makes sense. And then you get a deal. But that's fun for me. This is, like I said, I do this in my sleep all the time. All right, so we're going to take the adjusted gross scheduled income. We've got market rents at $600 a unit. We're just going to take that as the average market rent. Perfect. We're going to take that as $600 a unit times 330. So we've got 600 times 330. Now, I know, and you know, that there's probably amenities like laundry, maybe a pool, maybe something else there. Hopefully not a pool, actually. And we're going to ignore all that income for the moment. So we've got 600 times 330. 600 times 330 equals 198,000. And that's going to be on a monthly basis. Then we're going to multiply that by 12. It's going to be 2,376,000. Did I get that? 76, one more zero. Then we're going to multiply that by 2. Going to give us $4,752,000. That's going to be my total investment on this property. And I'm going to find a way, if I'm going to take this down, you've got to find a way to fit your repair, your purchase, Your transaction costs, by the way, your transaction costs are going to be massive. Your insurance costs are going to be massive on this. Especially when you're in the repair phase, you're going to have builders, you're going to have two policies going simultaneously. This is one of the reasons why I prefer a vacant building, especially on stuff this size. It's because you only need one expensive insurance policy going at the time. You're going to need a builder's risk policy and a tenant policy going simultaneously in a very sophisticated insurance broker who understands that. You're not really going to be able to shop for like, ooh, give me the best deal. That's going to backfire totally. You're going to need really, really high commercial liability as well as general liability. You're going to need a ton of stuff to get this to fit within that budget. So you've got $4.7 million to spend. Clearly, you can't blow it all on the purchase price. I think your rehab is going to be closer to the $2.5 million range. That's what I'm guessing is going to be closer to the $2.5 million range, possibly a little bit more, depending on the current condition of the unit and what the marketplace is looking for. And if you've got to do anything plumbing, oh my God, the roof. If you've got pine trees and you got that roof nearby, post over. Anyway, you've got all those things to consider. But at this moment, you're walking uphill. You're really, really walking uphill. The best play could be just to wait for him to get into trouble with the city, so much so that he's just ready to give it to you, because this is kind of where this one is headed.
All right, everyone. I'm Jay Massey, and I want to thank you for listening to this episode of the Cashflow Diary podcast. If you'd like to keep the conversation going, head over to CashFlowDiary.com to sign up for our email list. Check out all of the links and resources in the show notes. Thank you again. Until next time.